Hello, this is Kermit the Streamer. We are doing an arena sealed of the new Tarkir Dragonstorm set. We chose a Sultai pack, and these are our dragons. We've got Teval, Arbiter of Virtue, Flying Lifelink 6/6. Spells you cast have Delve, which is every card you exile from the graveyard reduces the cost by one colorless. You can only use cards in your graveyard to pay the colorless cost. So this, at bare minimum, is going to be a black, green, blue card, which is the Sultai colors. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. That doesn't seem fun, but we do have Flying and Lifelink to help us out. So this is kind of, I hate this just because you may be able to make your spells cheaper with Delve, but you're going to lose life equal to the full amount. So it's not that it's not, it's like a hidden cost in a weird way. I mean, like, yeah, you're getting your life link, so you're probably going to be able to afford to do it, but like, you do have to be kind of careful with this, I think, is what the deal is. We got Zurgo, Thunder's Decree, red. This is the Mardu colors, red, white, black. Mobilize 2. That means that I can create 2 warrior tokens every time this creature attacks. They do get sacrificed, though, so they don't get to stick around, which is unfortunate. But during your end step, warrior tokens you have control have this token can't be sacrificed. So the nice thing about Zurgo is every token he makes sticks around, and actually once he's on the battlefield, all of your tokens stick around. So that makes all of your mobilize effects create permanent tokens. They can still die in combat, they can still perish, but they will no longer be sacrificed. So that's pretty cool. That's a mobilized payoff. Clarion Conqueror is a white card. Activated abilities don't work. This card is good because it's a 3 mana flying 3/3. This other business, great, fine. It's the Fun Police. White always has something like that. But the reason why this card is good is because it's a cheap 3/3 flyer. I would play it. It's also a dragon. Dragons are important. We like those in this set. We've got a Saga. This is the Sultai Saga, so it probably makes my deck. Destroy target non-land permanent is first phase. Mill 3 cards. And then final phase, you may discard a card when you do return target creature land card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is good. Sagas are basically 2 for 1s. You get something right away. You get something weird in the middle, which is probably helpful to your deck's plan. You know, Delve, we can pay Delve costs, we can reanimate things probably. We've got all sorts of benefits for things being in the graveyard. The Sultai mechanic is Renew or something like that. Allows you to pay costs, pay a casting cost of the creature or spell from the graveyard to get some effect. And then we've got the discarding card that helps us fill up our graveyard and also lets us get something back. Maybe we milled something in these 3 cards. We're going to get those things. It would be better if it were in the play, but still, getting it into hand, nice. It's a nice payoff. It completes the 2 for 1 nature of this card. And 2.5 to 3 for 1 if milling 3 cards is something you want to do. Parination, a Abzan, white, black, green. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a hexproof counter and an indestructible counter. That's pretty doggone good. That thing, whatever that thing is that you get back, is never going away. Now the sad thing is, if you're not getting rate on it, if you're not getting I'd say a 5 casting cost or more thing, it's probably not doing you that great a bit of work. Rediscover the Way. This is a Jeskai card. It is a Saga, blue, red, and white. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. This is nice. The big Jeskai mechanic. One of them is double spelling. This just helps you get more stuff, and also a little bit of card selection too. Looking at the top 3 means you're going to get your best stuff. You're going to get one of your cantrip spells. You're going to get something that advances your game plan in some way. You might get some harmonized card that's good. And then your 3rd level is whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature you can control gains double strike. Great when paired with things like prowess. Magmatic Hellkite. Nice dragon here. When this creature enters, destroy a non-basic land. They get to search for a land and replace it, so they're not really losing any momentum or anything severe. They're just losing the ability to easily cast some of their 3-color spells. So that's good. Um, Now, and the other thing that's nice is even though they do get another land, there is a turn where they don't get to use it, so it gets stunned in effect. So that's cool. You're basically doing a temporary stone rain. So that's actually pretty good. That's definitely better than just letting them replace that land. And we got Naga Fleshcrafter. That's a 3/4 drop here. It copies. So it's your standard clone. That's the standard price for the clones. And then it has renew. When it's in the graveyard, we can pay this renew cost and we can put a +1/+1 counter. It does say on target non-legendary, so you couldn't put it on your dragon. Probably any of your big special dragons. Um, and each other creature you control. Oh, here's why the legendary bit is important. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature. So that's pretty cool. If you've got any super crazy big non-legend creatures that you want to copy the entire board as, I think that's actually a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool payoff for this guy. Like, it's a very interesting, like, clone standard. We've had that for a long time. This other thing here that you get to do. Let's say you mill this card. Let's say you intentionally put it in your graveyard. You got some cool stuff happening there. That's pretty neat. All right. So here's what I like to do with my sealed pools. This is what I would do in a local store too, basically. I would sort all my cards by color, start by looking at the lands. And right now what we're going to do, since this is a multicolor set that usually plays across 3 colors, we're just going to put all of our lands in there. We're supposed to be a Sultai deck, so that means that we want green-blue and black-blue, and especially black-green-blue. So 2 Opulent Palaces is really nice. So we've got these other cards here that may come in if we have any weird splashes that we want to play. Also, the fact that these are life lands means that if they have one of your primary colors, there's a good chance you want to be playing them. So I probably want to run my Blossoming Sands. I probably want to run my Rugged Highlands. Basically what we're going to be looking at is whether or not we take penalties for having too many tap lands. Because all of these special lands we have are tap lands. The fact that 4 of them here, no, sorry, can't count. 5 of them produce all of our colors is actually really doggone good. We really want to play these if at all possible. These could go, but I think they may prove useful. They're going to enable some possible splashes. We may not want to do that anyway, but it's just nice to know that it's an option. We've got this here. We're definitely playing that. Rakshasa's Bargain. This is a thing they've done in the past. If we've got our Sultai colors, we can play it for 3 mana. If we are missing any colors, any color that we're missing, we can pay with just 2 colorless mana. So if we do have our green and blue, we could pay this as a forecasting cost if we're missing our black, which is not bad. It's really good when you get to do this on 3, though. And I love this. Rakshasa's Bargain is going to be a pretty key card for the Sultai colors. You're getting to get the best 2 out of your top 4, and then you're also sort of stocking your graveyard for some of your shenanigans. Grimag Nightwatch. Yes, this is great. This is like, I think there's a ton of different cards that have done this in previous sets, but it's like the standard like zombie creature that does this same effect. We're looking at the top 3 cards of our library. One of them comes into our hand, so it's in effect drawing us a card when it comes into play. The best of the basically the best of the 3 cards on the top of our deck, and then the other 2 go into our graveyard. You can have too much of this kind of effect, but we're not going to get there in sealed, I don't think. And then we do want to Awaken the Honored Dead. So things like Rediscover the Way, like, we can run this based on our weird land thing, or weird land setup here, but I don't think we want to. We've got the Jeskai Monument. This allows us to get an Island, Mountain, or Plains. We're not playing Island, Mountains, or Plains, so even though this is a cool ability on this card, it is not a thing that we're going to bother with. Perenation. This is a card I would consider splashing because we're going to have good targets. Tevel, Gurmag Nightwatch is not terrible. It would be a somewhat bummer to do that one, but it would still actually give us the extra card. It would still be an indestructible hexproof creature. So I mean, it's still a thing that would work. Mammoth Bellow would be a good card to splash, and we have the tools to be able to splash it. don't think so on Zergo Thunder's Decree. Basically, I'm going to look for, when I'm looking for something that might be a splashable, I'm going to look for one color that's not in our black, green, blue. So in this case, we already have the green and the blue. We're missing the red. In this case, we're missing the red and the white typically. So even though this guy's really good, I don't think this deck can handle the splashing, even if we run our special lands. Reigning Victor. No, we don't want any of that. Kishless Skimmer. When this leaves your graveyard during your turn. So we're going to have some stuff that lets us mill, but we don't necessarily have anything that takes anything out of our graveyard naturally. We're going to look for that. This is a maybe right here. Overall Procession. Return target for card from your graveyard to your hand. Interesting. This triggers the Kishless Skimmer. So if we mill the Kishless Skimmer, then we Auroral Procession it, we actually get another card. That's pretty good considering we're not too excited about returning a 2/2. The fact that we return a 2/2 and gain another card would actually be pretty doggone good. We don't care about Frontline Rush. We can play Host of the Hereafter though, but do we want to? So it just comes into play as a 4/4, has 2 counters. When it dies, we get to move the 2 counters. That's good. We're going to take that. Marshal of the Lost. This is good. The thing that's good about it is A, it's got Death Touch. B, it gives that attack trigger just by being on the battlefield. So whatever I'm attacking with gets the bonus. This only has one of the colors we're missing, so we can splash it. Sultai Devotee. This is our mana guy. It filters for any of our colors. This is actually not that exciting. The fact that it's a 2/1 Death Touch is why I want it in my deck. The mana filtration, fine. It'll ease our ability to meet our mana requirements when we're not getting our lands in our 3 different types in the way that we need them. Abzan Devotee. It's not terrible. It's playable. We'll take it. It can come back. Now it costs us 5 mana to bring it back fully, because we got to pay the 3 to bring it back, and then we got to pay the 2 to cast it again. But still, a card like that that keeps coming back, it can be a problem. And then we've got the 3/3 wall. We're gonna put that in for now, but it's not necessarily making the cut. This Twin Moth Stormbrood. You know what? This is cool. I want to talk about these omens for a second. They look like adventure cards, but the way omens work is when you draw this card, you can cast the omen, and if you do cast the omen, this card gets shuffled back into your library. So it's kind of cool because it's a sort of a reusable thing. Now, as the game goes on, theoretically, this would be less and less useful. But also, as the game goes on, you're more likely to be able to cast the dragon, which is the side you really want to cast. So the downside on these is, unlike adventures, which go into an exile zone that can then be played at any time, you're going into a little zone of, oh, well, maybe I'll draw this again. So, you're getting this good effect, and maybe you're going to get the dragon later. Or you're going to get this good effect again. So this is one, though, the reason why I'm considering this card here is because 5 damage to a creature without flying, that kills just about everything. There's going to be a lot of 5 toughness creatures, and we're not necessarily going to have a lot of things that deal 5 damage. Now this is a red card when it does the damage, and a white card when it does the other thing, so it is a pretty hard card to commit to. The white side of it, though, is easy for us to get, and the red side of this is not impossible. Mardu Devotee, not even interested. Would help us getting our red mana cost, but the fact that we need 1 white mana to get it into play means it's not going to be our thing. Jadecast Sentinel. I like cards like this because it means that decking is not going to be a thing when you're worried about it, but I don't think this one is going to make the cut. The reach here is very interesting. This is a card that might catch my eye later. Like it might come back into the deck. Snakeskin Veil, I love this card. This basically counters a removal spell and it makes your creature stronger, so it's great. Sometimes it's a combat trick that wins a fight. We can Behold a Dragon with this, and we get to bite another creature. And then if we did Behold a Dragon, we also get a Surveil of it. Surveil helps us fill up our graveyard. Piercing Exile is fantastic. We want that. Super good when we've got some Death Touch creatures that we can play early, because then we don't even care about the toughness of the creature that we're trying to bite. Undergrowth Leopard, not great, but playable. Enchantments and artifacts. It's a good thing to be able to turn to be able to kill those every now and then with an otherwise irrelevant creature. Tuned Hunter. Yeah, that's great. We're Sultai. We're going to have some things leave our graveyard. We already have a couple of cards that make that happen. So this is good. A 3/3 for 3 is okay, especially one that has trample and one that can grow. Champion of Doosan. So it has renew. Yeah, that's fine. Not great, but fine. What's going to happen, the play pattern with this is basically it trades up. Probably trades up with a forecasting cost, or at least trades even, and then we get to very cheaply buff something else we have on the table, which is going to be okay. Yep, and we also get to add trample to that creature too, so that's cool. Roamer's Routine, not thrilled. Harmonize is kind of like Delve in that you can remove or no, it's more like Convoke, but it cares about the creature who is tapped's power. So it's only going to reduce colored mana cost, but if we have a 4 power creature on the board, when we go to Harmonize, all we would have to do is tap that creature and pay green. For the Harmonize cost, that's playing it from the graveyard. We're going to put that in for now. I don't know that it's going to stay in. I don't know that our deck wants to do that. This is a great way to fix when you're trying to get to your third color, though. That's why I'd say it's useful. It's because it's not so much when you're trying to just get your second color or just trying to get another land. It's getting that third color that's really the key thing. Sage of the Fang. Oh yeah, that seems great. Oh, this is cool. So if you already have a +1/+1 counter somewhere, you get to draw a card. If you don't draw a card, then this creature comes in as a 5/4 for 4. That's great. That's fantastic. Either one of those scenarios, you're fine. There are going to be games where you really wish you had the card. There are going to be games where you really just wanted the 5/4, but you're always getting something good with this card. This is fantastic. This is really good because we will gladly pay 1 just to get a basic land. We'll pay 1 to get a basic land a bunch. Probably the second time you draw this, you're not as happy, but hopefully the second time you draw it, you've got 5 mana and can play it. I'm just going to look here for anything really crazy on the red side. That Hellkite's good, but it's too red that we're not even thinking about touching that. Oh, this is such a cute card, the Rescue Leopard. I love it. Yeah, none of that's anything. Black is one of our colors. Worthy cost. Oh, that art. Oh my gosh, that art. Wow, I gotta take a picture of that. That's fantastic. Who is that? Andrew Marr? I have not seen his art before. That is just great. That is something else. Corroding Dragonstorm. Oh, that's great. We'll have to check to make sure we've got enough dragons, but getting to do this twice is the bar. Like if you have a way to do this twice, you're happy. Because a drain for 2, and then a surveil, and then anytime you play a dragon, you get to bounce it back and do it again. That's fantastic. Less cool, but interesting. As long as I have a creature with any type of counter on it, This guy effectively does an extra damage. Um, I don't know about a flying 1-2 being anything we actually want to play, though. Getting to choose a card and make them discard it and then get a counter, the thing we want, which is great. I don't know that that's going to make the cut, though, at 3 mana. Yeah, okay, this is standard. It costs more if we're actually targeting a dragon. I don't like this in my deck. I'm going to put it in, but I'm probably going to take it out. This is fine. I have 5 of them, don't I? No, I have 4 of them. Probably not going to keep it, but we're going to put it in for now. Dusk Sight. The fact that this draws a card is huge. So there is the possibility, I believe. I think it's not possible to draw the Death Gorger. I think this is still resolving before you draw your card, but that's the thing that I was thinking about going, oh man, that's cool. The creature side of this is not the thing you're really excited about, though. It's the +1/+1 side, but I'll take that. I'll take the other thing. I'll definitely take the other thing. Just if this ends up in our graveyard, we're less excited about getting to reanimate it or something. Although, I mean, the fact that it's a flying death touch means that it at least trades well. It can block anything, essentially. When this creature, yeah, that's kind of expensive. I don't think I like it. Blue. I like this card. It's not coming into this deck, though, I don't think. Well, wait a minute. Draw 3 cards? Oh, sold me. We'll put it in for now and we'll maybe take it out. Yes. Yes. They made a Manowar Serpent. The sad thing here is that it would have been nice if it was a 3/4 or a 4/3. Focus the Mind seems fantastic. We're gonna play the Fleshcrafter. I don't know that it's gonna stay in. Sibsig Appraiser. 2 cards. Oh yeah, fantastic. Great card. Oh man, that's a really great card. Kislev Travelers. So you're basically trading a creature for a spell here. But the cool thing about that is it triggers that when something leaves your graveyard ability. So I think that's going to be a reason to run it. Dispelling Exile. This deck is not going to run that. This is going to be a fine card in draft, I think. But this, for sealed, I don't think I'm going to run this. Fine, not exciting. Yeah, this is not great. It might be an early cut. And I don't think we're going to bother with this Wingspan Stride. I do like enchantments that give you +1/+1 in flying, and the fact that this comes back is nice. But I don't know. There's a weird situation where you give a creature +1/+1 and flying, and it just doesn't affect the board whatsoever. And then it doesn't matter. Like you've got this thing on the board that doesn't really do anything. Congratulations. So. This is what we have. So we've got a lot of cuts to make. And basically we just got to decide how greedy we want to get with our mana base. If we even want to try doing the things. So we really had no other way to help us out other than lands here. So that being the case, I don't think we're gonna try difficult splashes. So that means we can take those out. That means we can take these non-essential lands out. And then this is what we're looking at. I still think that I can run the Stormbrood, and what I'm going to do to make that happen is I am going to keep basic lands in the picture, because we can search for them with Roamer's Routine. If we couldn't do that, then I don't think it would be a good idea to keep this card in. And I really don't think it's going to be a good idea to run the tap lands. I do think it's going to slow us down enough to be a problem. So then the only question is, do I actually want to run? I do think I need to run 3. Honestly, it might be better to run 4 if I can. And let's just do a quick thing here. We've got 5, 6 black sources. We've got 2, 4, 6 blue sources. And we've got, so what I'm doing here is counting my 4, I'm counting my land, 3, and then I'm counting anything that can produce green. So I've got 5, 6, 7 green sources. Green is going to be the most important color in the deck, so we're going to make sure we've got plenty of those. We want to have 8 to 9 if we can. This gives us 9. And then what that basically means is we want to really pay attention to the fact that we can't afford double casting costs in our other colors if we're not going to have as much access to those colors. So we've got 3 swamps, 2 palaces, 1 dismal backwater. That gives us 6 total black sources. Then we've got 7 total blue sources at the moment. So let's do a quick count. 6, 9, 14, 18, 19 lands. Don't think we're going to want 19 lands, so let's go ahead and bring down our island count. That gets us to 18. Take out our doubles. We don't have any red mana. So, that's what we do. Whoops. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Mountain. What we're gonna do here, I think, is we're going to put in 1 mountain, what the heck is going on with this? Why are you being silly? Alright, we're gonna save this and then we're gonna go back in. And we're going to put in a mountain. Now the reason I'm only putting in the 1 mountain is because I'm dumb. No, I need to do it the other way, don't I? I need to do it like this. Because the only way we're casting this dragon is if we played Roamer's Routine and we've gone and gotten our 1 plains. Now we run the risk here of milling our 1 plains, which really sucks. So that being the case, I'm going to do an ill-advised thing, and I'm going to put in this, and then take out 1 of these. So the odds of us milling both both of our things is less likely. That's my thinking, at least. Well, and with that being said, I can play a Rugged Highlands over one of my forests, too. So we're increasing our odds of being able to do the thing. So here we go. Here we go. I'm committing the crime that will make us lose faster than anything else, which is running all of my tap lands. Well, gotta trust the luck of the cards. So then, let's do a quick check again on our land count. We have 18 lands. You know what? I have a feeling this is going to be an 18 land format. At least in the sealed, I think it's going to be a good idea. When you've got to get 3 colors, land becomes a little bit more important to draw. And it becomes really important to draw in the right time, at the right time. You know, to have one each turn And if you can't cast your spells, you can't play a game of Magic. So now we're looking at what our sources do, and basically we're going to need to cut, I think, blue. We're going to need to really bring down our blue. So we're going to take cards we're not that thrilled to play and get rid of them. Agent of Kotis is one of them. This Temur Devotee is another. Focus the Mind. Probably should go, but I think I'm going to get rid of the Serpent. The Flashcrafter's so dang cool. The thing that we can do that's really cool with the Flashcrafter is if we have a dragon out, we can basically copy all of our dragons and then just have a whole bunch of flyers. Now, it's not going to work on the legendary dragons, of course, but it'll work on any of these regular dragons, and it would just be insane. Normally, you don't really want to play a card, though, because it might be insane, but the fact that a clone is actually okay in this deck, there's lots of good targets that we've got. If we cloned our Trade Route Envoy, we'd be really happy. If we cloned the Marshal of the Lost, we'd be pretty happy, because that trigger will go twice. A lot of our upper end we're really happy about cloning. Our lower end less exciting. I think this Adorned Crocodile probably should go. Acacia Trawlers is not exciting, but it does a thing that our deck can do pretty easily and will allow us to buy back a removal spell. So that's pretty good. Nice thing about a Toon Hunter is it's any card leaving our graveyard, not just creatures. So if we pay if we cast a Harmonize card, not that we had that many. I think you've got to go, Nightblade Brigade. We don't care about tokens with this deck. We'll get rid of Aggressive Negotiations. That could be really a clutch card, but I don't think this deck is really going to enjoy it. I like this because it has Death Touch. Don't care for the Blood Flies, I don't think. The return from the graveyard ability on the Abzan Devotee is actually pretty good. Can we see what our dragon count is? Yeah, we got 4 dragons, so we definitely want to play this dragon card. I think 2 is your minimum, but when you've got more, that's even better. And one of them is probably one we're not going to cast very often, but these other ones are going to hit the table probably. Alright, Marshal of the Lost, you're cute, but I think you gotta go. You're not so much of a bomb that we're gonna be struggling with our deck to make you work. I don't think this card is that great. One thing that's interesting about this too is if I were to clone it with the Fleshcrafter, I don't know if it gets the counters. It might. I don't think so though. What do we got? We got 20 creatures still, so we could stand to lose some things. Got 49 cards. We're really trying to make this down to 40. For those of you that don't know, sealed deck, you've got the same rules that you have for draft as far as deck size. You can get down to 40 and play with 40. We've got a lot in our 3 slot. A lot of really good things in our 3 slot too. Panda Growth Leopard, I think you gotta go. All of our other twos are so much better. We have a lot of this effect. So I think we're in a spot. This didn't have trample, I would want to get rid of it, but it does have trample. I don't think we need a spell that does this thing. Even though this is really good, the fact that we've got 4 creatures that do that same thing, there is too much of a good thing in that. And I think that's what's going to happen there. And it's really hard to cut from here. I really don't know what to cut. These skimmers are really good. I think. I think Champion of Dozen's got to go. Don't want to cut my dragons. I think I'm going to get rid of Focus the Mind here. That's really more of a Jeskai card, and we have to have a lot of things go right for it to work. Also, we're getting so much card selection that might actually be a little overkill for us anyway. I think I'm going to go down to 1 Roamer's Routine. With all the cards, you know what? Yeah, because this is only going to come into play when we're missing exactly the forest, sorry, the plains or the mountain, probably. We're doing enough card selection that we're going to be able to, there's going to be lots of times where we decide, oh, well, we get this with one of these cards and go, well, it's not going to make sense this game because we don't already have the red. Or we don't already have the white. Although that's less of a thing. It's pretty much if we don't already have the red that we would want to pitch this. And we could always get it back with something like Aurora Procession later. That being said, I want to go back then and consider getting the, what was the Parination. I want that card. Give it back to me. Give me Parination. Because theoretically here we mill something early like this Stormbrood, and then we get to get it back. We discover the way doesn't belong. That wasn't supposed to be there. I would get rid of this, but the exile is pretty good. I mean, technically, I think this is a Mardu card, though. I think what you want to be doing with this is getting rid of a token that you're going to have to sacrifice anyway. So I think we're not going to do that. We'll take that out. We're going to depend on just having better creatures, and then we're going to depend on that we have some removal. We have Dragon's Prey, we have Piercing Exhale. Awaken the Honored Dead does that job for us. And then we've got some Death Touch guys that can do the trading when we need it. So we're getting real close here. We just got to cut 3 more cards. And we might just be happy with cutting 1 and then call it a day. We're probably not going to get to do the Sage of the Fang thing from the Renew, or at least when we do get to do it, it's not going to be that impressive. So I think it's got to go. This actually feels right here. The 41st card is a land, so I'm gonna run with that. because I do think having the extra land is going to make the difference, especially when we're on the draw. What are we going to call this? Opulence. I has it. Because I have 2 opulent palaces. Alright, so we'll pause now and we'll come back and play the matches. We're going to go have dinner now. See you later. This is Kermit the Streamer signing out. Hope you're having as much fun as I am with the Dragonstorm pre-release.